Infill housing is reshaping Edmonton neighborhoods under a new zoning bylaw as the city aims to grow up rather than out. The current approach is not proving popular on the campaign trail, and every top mayoral candidate has a plan to make changes. In part 3 of our mayoral race breakdown, CTV's Jeremy Thompson looks at what adjustments each of them are suggesting for infill and housing in general.
It's one thing to talk about density in a growing city. It's another experience entirely when that density casts a literal shadow over your life. As multiplexes and other infill homes take shape in mature neighborhoods, many Edmontonians are pushing back, and the people running for mayor are listening. City Council got an earful from Edmontonians on infill housing this summer. The citywide zoning overhaul that took effect in 2024 allows up to 8 units on most residential lots.
We are sad, we are anxious, stressed, and at times angry, and you don't seem to care.
Tim Cartmel was in chambers during that display. He's now pitching a 40-day infill action plan in his bid to become mayor.
Change the definition of height. We will redefine setbacks. We will maximize the number of units on a typical city lot at 4. We will talk about parking requirements. We will talk about trash requirements. We will talk about the requirement to engage with the community.
Cartmel decided to stick to his vacation plans when that hearing ran long, missing a vote that could have capped the mid-block maximum to 6 units. Now he wants voters to know he's committed to reining in disruptions to daily life.
We're going to talk about the cumulative effect on a neighborhood of construction, of neighborhood renewal, of bike lanes, of infill. And when a neighborhood has had too many of those things in too short a time, we're going to stop it for a while.
We're seeing these big, huge monstrosities being put up. And it really boils down to growing tomatoes, you know?
Big shadows and maintaining neighborhood character are concerns Omar Mohammed hears about in central areas. Instead of disturbing mature communities with multiplexes, he'd like to see a greater focus on developing Blatchford.
Urban sprawl is not going to be the answer here. We don't have the money. We've got the land, but we don't have the money to build that. So the increased density is going to be the natural result.
Some of these homeowners, this was their nest egg. This was their investment, and their value has dropped as a result. No one's going to buy that now.
While none of the candidates believe the current rules for infill are correct, their suggested changes range from small tweaks to a complete overhaul. All 5 candidates say 8 units is too many. Knack and Mohammed support a 6-unit maximum. Walters and Cartmel think 6 is fine, but only on corner lots. Otherwise, they say infill should cap off at 4 units. Raheem Jaffer says the whole residential section of the new zoning bylaw needs to be scrapped.
I think you have no choice given all the bad blood and given how this has been rolled out. Tweaking, I think even though you could move towards that, you almost need a reset to say, you know, we got to stop and start over because this should have never happened to begin with.
Jaffer joins Cartmel and Mohammed in calling for parking requirements on infill projects, though they differ slightly on the proper ratio. Cartmel plans to form citizen action groups for council to consult on all things infill, while Knack wants to expand the infill compliance team to hold rule-breaking builders to account. Michael Walters says a city catalog of approved infill floor plans and designs is worth exploring. In fact, every candidate wants infill to look nicer.
We've decided to mostly attempt to solve housing supply shortage by reinventing mature neighborhoods, which has really broken public trust.
Walters wants to shift the city's housing focus to redeveloping areas like the exhibition lands where the Coliseum will soon be demolished. He also wants to speed up building in Blatchford by selling land to developers.
My goal is that at the end of the next 4 years, people stop rolling their eyes about Blatchford and start to speak proudly about it.
Andrew Knack believes infill addresses population loss in mature neighborhoods, helps with strained city finances, and brings down the cost of housing by adding to the supply.
We need to be thoughtful about it, but we also need to make sure we're not going backwards, because Edmonton is still the most affordable major city in Canada. This is one of the few major cities where if you are younger, you at least have a chance to get a home.
Knack says he's learned from infill growing pains this term. He wants to see how Edmontonians respond to recent adjustments.
We finally have a program called the Construction Accountability Program, which allows the city to go as far as actually revoking the business license of a builder who is not following the rules.
The outgoing council did make some adjustments to infill rules rules at the tail end of the term, shrinking the maximum footprint, which could encourage parking space. Fewer side entrances are now allowed, and council added some design rules to make infills more appealing from the street. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.